Hi
This
Deepika,
meeting
how are
is
you?
being recorded.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you. How are you, Rakesh?
Yeah, I'm good too. Can you tell us something about yourself?
Yeah. So, I have almost 7 years of experience, all total. So, I have started my career as a development first, and then I gradually shifted to QA. I initially I was working in manual, then I gradually moved to automation. It was almost more than 5.5 years around. I am into automation. Mostly my work revolves around UI, functional testing, and UI part actually. UI automation, I was responsible for. I mean, I am responsible for to do. So Selenium is my that is the tool I have mostly used. Apart from that, I have working exposure on Cypress also, which is very recently I have started. Apart from that, I do process some knowledge on API testing actually, but real life project I have not got that much exposure. But yeah, Postman validation is there, with real life project experience. But in my personal interest, I have explored REST assures and other REST API tools actually. Apart from that, I have processed some knowledge on non-functional testing also. JMeter, in my personal interest, I have explored. I am using that in my current project. We are using, it's a kind of POC kind of thing that is going on. Yeah, version control tool, Git I have used. Azure DevOps is the one we are currently using in cloud as a a cloud and cloud tool. So these all agile methodology we are using. So I have worked in different framework also, both in BDD and TDD. Cucumber Specflow also part of my the tools I have worked so far. So as I mentioned that Selenium, I do Selenium with Java, and in some of the project I have worked for Selenium with C# also. So these all, and I would like to mention that while I'm starting my automation journey, I have developed a framework from scratch that was very basic, but was serving the need of the customer. And I got customer appreciation mail for that also. After that, mostly the framework I have worked so far is already there, existing framework. But if there is any new features came as a part of that, we have to add some new classes, and then accordingly we need to modify. If some existing test method also it's not working because of some locator changes, or maybe there is some changes in the web page. So accordingly we need to change or modify the script. So that is also a part of my daily responsibility. Apart from as we are maintaining agile methodology, there is a perfect there is a 15 days or 10 days sprint time with there I have to complete test case writing and test script design if possible, if it is an automation scope, and we have to automate that also, and manually also verify and produce the result. So yeah, this is on a nutshell my daily deliverables revolve.
Okay, this is good. So you have got an opportunity to work in manual testing as well as automation, and I was just going through your CV. You have worked in various with various frameworks as well, and you were telling that you have worked in BDD, TDD. So what is the difference between BDD and TDD?
So basically, one is taste driven development, one is behavioral driven development if I'm going by not by definition but practically, what is the different exposure is like that. See, TDD is something like that. By definition, it is like developer will first edit the failed test case, and to pass the test case, they will write the code, and once this is passed, they will add another fail test case, and like that it will revolve. So as part of tester perspective, what I feel is that mostly TDD is something like that. We have to first develop the test cases and then do like that way. But BDD in a agile, as we are following the culture of the agile involve product owner, then Scrum Master, development and testing team. So this is the team formation. So BDDs, we are using like this Cucumber or SpecFlow tool. So this is quite readable or understandable through all over the team. Actually, product owner, Scrum Master, maybe the BA, those who don't have knowledge of coding or technical knowledge, it will. BDD give us this special feature. I mean, special. Like yeah, special features are categories, so that there is a special feature file which is written on the Gherkin language, which is almost like English and readable, properly understandable. So what there we can we tester or develop this feature file like that way. Anyone can understand who don't have technical background also can understand that if the requirement is perfectly met, or how we are going to test this, how what is the test strategy. So that will be specifically maintained on this feature class file. So that is one benefit actually throughout in the agile model, so that everybody can well aware like what is the test strategy and how we are going to test this. That is missing in the TDD, test driven development. So
Okay. So let's say if you have to create an automation framework for an e-commerce based website like Amazon, right? You have to test that particular website using the automation. And as you were earlier also given one opportunity to create a framework from scratch, similarly, you have to design an automation framework. So which are the key components or which are the things that you would include in your automation?
So this is like for every web application, there is like quite a generic framework is there. Like for every pages, basically as I'm following page object model, I hope like we everybody do the same. So like there for every web application, actually this is constant that for every web page there would be a web class, like a page class would be there, and along with the test class, for every page class there should be a test class and a base class. This is very generic, I'm saying.
Yes, yes, yes.
Then we can specialize it as per the requirement. So as a generic, we have 8 to 9 component if the test framework serve the basic purpose. So the component might be a base class would be there for the initialization, for the where we could keep the initialization and the tear down methods like the closing things, actually browser close and tab close like that. And for every page of that application there should be associated a page class, and for every page class there should be a test class associating. So this page class, test class, both will be import this base class.
Mhm. Is it
Apart from
possible?
that there should be,
Yeah. Is it possible if you can
yeah,
showcase, you can share your screen and showcase us the framework in your PC?
sure.
So I'm giving you sharing rights.
Yeah, disabled, yet to be enabled.
Yes, yes. Now you can share.
Yeah, let me know if it is visible.
Yes, yes. It is visible.
I need to open a word, just a minute. A paint maybe.
So if you have this thing ready in your Eclipse ID or any
Uh,
IntelliJ, yeah.
no, like currently probably I would I don't have it in hand. I mean, handy. I don't have like.
Okay, no worries. So you can
So
explain
I
with
just
the
need
help of,
to
yeah, yeah. With the help of
I need
diagram.
to draw it and then
Okay, okay, no
yeah.
worries.
Actually, if I know it beforehand, then I could able to keep it ready. But currently, I don't have it right away. I need to search actually.
No worries, no worries. You can explain on a high level basis.
Yeah, yeah. Just trying to. Okay, I'll not take much time.
Sure, sure. So you can explain on a high level basis for now.
I'm just yeah. I'll just like not able to perfectly draw it. So I'll just even I'll just describe it like that way. I just wanted to make one box on the top of it so that it could be easily understandable. But anyway, I'll just trying that there is some problem.
No
So
worries,
what are
no
my
worries.
point is that do I need to write it the text inside, or if I can
No, no, you
if
can.
I write it, that won't be yeah. I'll just but it will take some time again. So that is what I'm just going by the definition. So mostly 6 to 7 component as a very basic. If you wanted to serve if it is serving the very basic functionalities of your application to automate. After that, depends on the requirement. You can modify it accordingly. If you want to add more classes or more methods or something, or complexity, if you wanted to increase, then you can do it along it. So what my basic framework will be is there was a base class and with that which base class would be inherited by every page class and test class. Okay. I have test class and page class. There should be multiple page class, and for each page class, all in the page class, all my locators will be there, which is the object repository. There should be in the page class itself, will be written all the logics, all the methods and everything. And in test class, will consist like only the testing methods, the particular test scenario or the test cases as the manual. Like manually you have write some test cases, right? So for that test cases or test scenario, you can mention and the test case ID and the purpose what it is serving, and you can call those methods from the page class to test class. So for that only you need to create an object reference of page class in order to access those methods into the test class. Similarly, test class, apart from those, there should be a configuration file. uh, a configuration file should be there. It will just have some basic configuration details, uh, this config file. You could keep it as a but take simply key value pair. You could keep all your information over there. Apart from that, if your framework is data driven, kind of maybe you have to like you have to feed some data, username, password, or the data that which will be changed. Like you have to from the user side, you have to give some office ID, then building location and all everything, uh, anything else which will be depends on the test case. It will be change or vary, then you can keep it all those data into a Excel file, which is you need to attach here on your framework, and then you have to write a Excel utility file to read those Excel and feed those data into your test classes. So for that, another utility file should be there. Utility file which will cover this Excel read of if you could write the Excel read methods. What happened? Excel read method you could write there.
Yes, yes, we are able to hear
It
you.
can anyway just consider it as utility. No, it is. I'm just trying to make it as you, but it's not. I'm not sure what is happening, but you can consider it as an utility file, which will consist of not only the Excel read utility method. You could write all the utility based on your requirement and the complexity of the framework. So apart from that, there should be another part which would be test report section. So again, there would be another one which will be a test report. You could consider this box for that, which will generate the report. Anyway, if you are using TestNG, then you'll get an TestNG report, and there are in the market there are different reporting tools is available. If you are using Maven as a build management tool, then you can just add the dependencies of those and give a build, and you are ready to use that. So I preferably used Extend report for that. So I'll just add the dependency on my pom.xml and then give a clean build, and it will add the dependency or the jar file on my project framework, and I'm ready to use that. And once the test pass or fail, I can go to there on the particular see, these all are folder structure. There we have to go there, and if you click on, there would be a HTML link. So if you click on that page, it'll show it like all the pie charts and that format, in a easily manageable and clean format, which you can mail it to your supervisor. So this is another part or component as a report. So apart from that, these all are very basic. Properties file could be there. Any prop file you can write it. So this is very basic. Actually, based on your project requirement and complexity, it could be modified. So if you are using BDD instead of TDD, there should be test runner class. If you are using Cucumber, then spec. If you are using, then feature file would be there. Test step definition file would be there. So then if you wanted to run it parallelly, then there would be probably thread local we are using. So another class file you can create like that way. And there is some application config app config, like these files should be there to connect with the database and all. So there could be, so it will be just going, but it will be complex or it will be modified accordingly to your project needs and requirement.
Right, right. No, this is very good. Okay. So coming to the next question, Misra, now I have sent you one Java program question in our Zoom chat. So what you have to do is you have this array and you have to find an element which is having value equal to its index, right? The first question, given sorted array of unique elements, you need to find an element which is having value equal to its index, right? So you need to write a program in any language you are comfortable with. So you can share your screen, maybe Notepad, IntelliJ, or Eclipse, and you can start writing this program.
Yeah, just let me. I'll first go by Notepad, or I'll just first mark it on Notepad, okay, and then we'll once I write the code, then we'll go for any ID or something.
No.
Just give me some few minutes. I just need to go through the question and understand what it is asking for. Okay, sorted error.
Yeah, you can copy this question in a Notepad, right? And then you can share your screen, and then everyone would be able to see this question as well, right?
Okay. Sorry, I thought I have shared already.
No worries. That is fine. Don't get nervous at all. This is a mock interview, right?
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, so here we are given sorted array of unique element, find an element which is having value equal to its index.
Right. So over here, answer
Uh,
will be 2, right? It is having, as it is an
0,
array
1, 2.
of 0, 1, 2, right? So you have to write a
Right.
program now. Can you increase the font
Mhm.
size?
Yeah, here we'll able to do that. Just a minute. Let me check.
In the format, you will get font option.
Okay. Let me know if it is visible. Is it now properly visible?
Yeah, yes, this is fine.
Okay, fine. So this is pretty straightforward. I'll just go for a loop, for loop or while any loop will be fine. So I just wanted to first, before I approach to that problem, I'll just wanted to mention like what I'm going to do. The problem is asking for the I. If I go by index, that will be equals to nums of I or arrays of I. So that is the intention. So maybe there would be multiple. I mean, is it we are just expecting there would be only one element of like that, or there could be multiple. So in that case, output type would be list actually, or maybe array we can return. Otherwise, we can return a single integer. What is the expectation? I mean,
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, absolutely. So the output should be 2. This is the output, the integer, single integer. And
yeah, I understand. I mean, what I'm asking is that the output, it is expected that there should be only one single output,
mhm. Yes,
single only one output, right?
yes.
Only one element is like that which element index number is equal to the value. I mean, there would not be multiple elements like that. Otherwise, we need to use output type as array list or array maybe.
Right.
So okay,
At least
fine. If
single
you are
element.
asking,
Yes.
so we are expecting that, or we are considering only one element is there like that, which index equals to value within the given input array, right?
Right.
Okay. Uh, so yeah, let me just go through read the write the program for that. So I'm taking a class, and then a method maybe. Mm, Passing the input array. Okay. So like I just need to first I need to consider the edge case. Edge case, like if nums dot length equals to 0, return 0. If nums dot length equals to 0, that means in the array there is no element, so we'll return 0. So now I'll just loop through the array int I equals to 0, I less than nums dot length. Okay. So as per the problem statement, if nums of I equals to I at any given point, if nums of I equals to I, then return the value. Anything we can return nums I or I in, because both values are same. So we'll return nums of I or I in anything is fine. Nums of I am just returning. If it is not, then the loop will continue. If there is nothing, then we can mention return 0 or null, anything will be fine. If maybe there is no any element where which index is matching and all. So yes, this would be the primary understanding of my question, and which I can remember right away. The time complexity and space complexity, if I can evaluate, time complexity is big O of n, as I need to go through all the elements once of the array, and space complexity, as we are not using any extra space, so it would be constant as one.
Constant. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so this is good. Okay, now you don't need to write further this program. Now you can stop sharing your screen.
Yeah.
Now you are doing API testing, right?
Yeah, I'm doing API testing, but I am more comfortable on UI, because actually Postman only I have validated. I mean, the tools I have explored currently I'm not in touch with. Like in my current project there is no any requirement right away. So yeah, I do have explored other different API testing tool, but currently I'm not in touch with.
So is it okay if we ask the questions on Postman related to API testing, or you would like us to ask questions on automation testing only?
Uh, yeah, I could I'm not that much confident on API, but yeah, I could generally try if it is for Postman.
Yes.
Maybe. Yeah, we
So
can.
yes. So let's say if you have to assert something in Postman, you have to validate something in the Postman. So how do you use an assertion in the Postman?
Uh, I'm I just validating two responses there that I need to validate.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah. So let's say if you have to validate that the response code is 200 or not. So how will you validate that?
okay. Uh, yeah, we can use like expected value is as 200, and whatever we are getting as actual. Like manually I have validated. I mean, I'm not sure about the script right away.
Okay. Okay, no worries. I'll
Yeah,
show you the script how you can write. So this is this visible?
yeah, yeah.
So this is how basically you
Okay, okay.
can write the script, right? pm.test, status code is
Mm,
200, right? This is using chai BDD that I
lem-
have used, right? pm.expect,
mm,
pm.response.code is equal to 200 or not, right? If this will fail, so
okay.
automatically your assertion will fail.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how you can use. Okay, now let's say you have to handle a self-signed certificate in the Postman. So how will you handle this?
Uh, no, actually, I'm saying that I am maybe not up to the marks to answer the question on API right away,
Okay, okay,
because
no
the
worries.
what I have done, I guess it will be very basic to answer those actually. So I am figuring out from this interview that I need to more work on that API perspective. uh, as if like that my regular deliverables currently not evolve with that, so I am currently just completely out of touch with that. So
No worries.
if
No
I
worries.
can get yeah.
Yeah. Now, what is Jenkins?
So Jenkins is basically CI/CD tools, I mean, which will help to deploy the different builds, and simultaneously we can run those runs our test cases onto that on the Jenkins itself.
So have you ever created a pipeline in Jenkins, or how do you integrate your automation framework or automation suite with the CI/CD Jenkins?
Yeah, actually, deployment, I would say that like we are using Azure DevOps mainly. So there is some different procedure, and there is some DevOps teams involved also. I do have deployed a test build, like if once it is ready from development environment, then I have deployed to test, but it was also long back. But what I can recall is that even I have set up this on my local also, Jenkins, but we have to figure it out. There is some there is some parameter, probably we have to provide our project, path and all. Then there is some we have to give the that like 8080, that local host URL and something. And I mean, I am not in touch again, like it was long back. I was working on Jenkins, so yeah, I remember very few of those actually.
No worries. Uh, how will you do bearer token authentication in REST Assured? Have you ever done that? Let's say if you have to
uh,
authenticate a token. Yeah.
yeah, I do have done, I mean, not rest assured, but in Postman I have done that. But uh, like API currently, if we can focus on UI, then it will help. Actually, can I ask one question here? Like, I just wanted to mention one thing, because like I have my Amazon interview on next week, so I was preparing for that. The format was completely different. Okay, so currently I am just focusing on those. So I am prepared. Like, if you ask something like on I mean, on the basis of that, like Amazon QAE profile. So these that preparation and this preparation is completely different. So currently, like before this interview, I may have gone through this part, like Jenkins and this API testing and all. But I kept it aside because I was mostly focusing onto that, and I was expecting that maybe I'll get a question from that. So otherwise, it is
Focus.
okay. I'll
Yeah. So how will
understand.
you, yeah, so how will you test Alexa based device with respect to, testing? Let's say if you and your team have to do that testing of Alexa device, right? So what would be your test strategy? What would be your test plan?
Yeah. So I do have to write it, or just
No, no, you
verbally
can tell it on a
communication.
high level. Yeah.
Yeah. So test strategy, there would be some different metrics actually. More or less, I mean, I'll just tell you that what is the metrics I'll follow, but it will be generic for all the test cases. I mean, all the test scenarios, but scenarios in the sense, like whatever the if I say, I mean, test strategy is on is a very broader way of to see the project. And if we just minorly, uh, what I'm saying is a part of it we can consider as a test plan. So I'll just say it by mostly first in generic way, then it will differ onto the test cases actually, test and test scenario wise. Otherwise, objective maybe remains same for the all. My test strategy would consist of those metrics, like fast is objective, then in scope, out scope. Do you want me to elaborate it, like what should be the what should I write there,
No, no, this
elaborate
is
it more, or
no, this is fine. A list of contents that you're telling, no,
okay.
about, yeah.
Yeah, so fast would be object. I'm talking about test strategy. The test strategy would be the testing of the Alexa devices. So objective would be that. Then there would be in scope, out scope. In scope means what is our scope, what is our scope to test that Alexa, and what is out of scope. And I'll come to that actually. It will be same as test plan, in the test plan also. Then there would be team, I mean, roles and responsibility in the test strategy. Which team will be responsible for that. Then the fourth comes as test environment setup. Then fifth is that if there is any timeline, and then risks and mitigation assumption. So these all are considered as a test strategy. And in test plan, we'll keep those metrics as like First one is objective again, and then in scope, out scope, and then number 3 will consider as like test strategy. Number 4, test strategy means here we are using functional or automation.
Mhm.
What is the scope actually? Number 4 is that, I mean, scope in the sense in scope, out scope is telling something else. Is it is the testing scenario is in our scope, or if it is not in our scope, what is in scope? So I'll come to that there. First, I just describe the metrics whatever I'll like to follow. Number 4 would be test methodology, like if it is agile or waterfall, which one we are going to follow. 5 would be risks and mitigation, then assumption. Risks and mitigation would be if there is any risks, like maybe the one team member will not be there, but might be this team will not be there to help, and then maybe we need one environment which might or might be down, or we'll need some hardware which will not, or maybe software which will be not available, which might not be available. Assumption is something like that we'll consider is like which all the test cases, when I'll give a test closure. This could be a part of this, maybe 90% test cases is if pass, and if there is any critical blockage, critical defect, or maybe minor defect involved, then we can pass our give a test closure and pass this. 7th would be automation required. Then 8 would be defect. 9 would be we can mention uh, risks and mitigation is there. Okay, entry and exit point, when the smoke testing will be completed, and then what is the point we'll considering, when we'll considering that it will we can start the smoke test, and then when we'll exit from the smoke test and go for sanity, and what is the exit point for sanity, on which condition, when we start the regression, like that. UAT, when we'll start it. This would be mentioned onto that entry and exit point. After that, it comes like hardware, software requirement, tools and technologies, then defect life cycle, QA environment setup, and roles and responsibilities also. After very last, timeline also we can mention, but if it is mentioned on the test strategy, it will be good. Then last, that is test closure, when everything is good, and we can give a closure on it. So coming to that Alexa, device testing, so mostly focusing on the onto the test cases depends on, we can divide it or segregate it like that way: functional and non-functional test case. So functional test case will um, we'll consider like that way. If the device is working properly or not. Okay, if whenever whenever we are we need to book something, or uh, there is some specific terms probably we need to use, and then the system will respond accordingly if it is doing that perfectly or not.